Have you ever found yourself dealing with the weight of time being sucked away by the people around you? Those who seem to drain your energy and vitality with their narcissistic and toxic attitudes. On our journey through life, we face many obstacles and challenges. Among them are those who resemble true emotional leeches, draining our energy and slowing down our progress. Narcissistic and toxic people. Narcissists, dominated by an inflated ego, see the world as a stage where they must be the only protagonists. Toxic people emanate negativity, pessimism and envy, poisoning the environment around them. Dealing with these individuals can be an arduous task, testing our patience and resilience. However, Stoic philosophy, with its age-old teachings on self-control, virtue and acceptance, offers valuable tools for navigating these turbulent waters. It is possible to adopt a Stoic stance in these circumstances, identifying and learning to deal with these intrusive personalities. I believe in you and me. Together we can overcome. Therefore, I invite you to declare in the comments, I have a Stoic posture. Now let's explore the 12 Stoic secrets that can light our way through the shadows of these complicated relationships. Before that, I ask for your support by liking this video and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already done so. This not only helps us, but also motivates us to produce more content like this. 1. Set limits. By upholding the virtue of reason and self-control, Stoicism teaches us to discern what is in our control and what is not. In the face of toxic individuals, recognizing that their actions and words do not define our worth is crucial. We must focus on our own reactions, establishing firm limits that preserve our dignity and autonomy. Communicating these limits assertively and directly is essential. Without hesitation, we must make it clear which behaviors will not be tolerated. This can be done firmly and respectfully, without leaving room for manipulation or emotional blackmail. Clear limits also imply concrete actions. If a narcissistic individual persists in disrespecting our boundaries, we must be ready to walk away, even if it is temporarily. This attitude demonstrates that we are not willing to be victims of their harmful behaviors. An everyday example that illustrates the application of this Stoic philosophy is the relationship with a toxic coworker. Imagine that he constantly criticizes you, devalues you, and tries to sabotage you. Instead of internalizing his words and allowing them to affect your self-esteem, you decide to set a clear boundary. Communicate directly that you will no longer accept this type of behavior and that, if it persists, you will be forced to distance yourself professionally. By taking this action, you demonstrate self-control and protect your emotional well-being. You refuse to let this individual's toxicity affect your professional life and personal growth. Establishing clear and unshakable limits is an act of self-love and self-care. It's a way to protect your energy, preserve your mental health, and walk your path with autonomy and dignity. By adopting this Stoic philosophy, you become more resilient in the face of toxic people, strengthening your ability to build healthy relationships and achieve your goals. 2. Accept the unchanging reality. At the core of Stoic philosophy lies the acceptance of the dichotomy of control. Epictetus, one of its greatest exponents, sums it up wisely: that which is under our control and that which is not under our control. This crucial distinction frees us from unnecessary anguish and suffering because it allows us to focus our energies on what we can truly influence: our own actions, thoughts, and reactions. When dealing with narcissistic and toxic people, this philosophy becomes even more essential. Individuals with such characteristics often thrive on attention and drama, seeking external validation and control over others. Trying to change or control your behavior is an uphill and futile battle because it lies outside our circle of influence. The key to dealing with these people lies in accepting the unchanging reality. They are who they are, and our actions will not change them. Rather than fighting the inevitable, Stoicism invites us to focus on what we can control, our own responses, and how we relate to them. A tree, for example, does not make an effort to change the course of the wind. It adapts, bending with the force of the breeze, but preserving its integrity. Likewise, we can learn to adapt to narcissistic and toxic people by establishing clear limits and protecting our emotional well-being. Change resides in ourselves, not in others. By accepting unchanging reality and focusing on what we can control, we cultivate resilience, serenity, and the ability to navigate challenging relationships with stoic wisdom and compassion. Imagine a narcissistic person constantly seeking praise and validation. Rather than trying to please her, a stoic would recognize this need as part of her personality and refuse to feed it. Instead, you would stay focused on your own actions and reactions, responding with assertiveness and respect without engaging in unnecessary drama or conflict. By following the Stoic principles of accepting unchanging reality and focusing on what we can control, we can deal with narcissistic and toxic people more effectively, preserving our emotional well-being and building healthier, more authentic relationships. 3. Practice Stoic compassion. Stoic compassion goes beyond simple empathy. It is recognizing shared humanity, even in the faults and mistakes of others. It is understanding that behind toxic behaviors, there may be pain and insecurities that have not yet been healed. It means offering an understanding, non-judgmental look that recognizes the pain of others and invites them to self-reflection. Imagine a leafy tree, its deep roots seeking water and nutrients from the soil, its branches stretched to the sky, seeking the sunlight. But beneath the surface, the tree may be diseased with pests or rotting roots. As we observe her yellowing leaves and dry branches, we can feel compassion for her struggle without judging her for her condition. Likewise, Stoic compassion invites us to look at toxic people with understanding, without letting ourselves be sucked into their negative energies. It's recognizing that, like the sick tree, they are also looking for something: attention, validation, maybe even love. By practicing Stoic compassion, we establish healthy boundaries, protecting our own energy and well-being. We do not become victims of manipulation, but rather compassionate observers, ready to offer help if requested, but without getting lost in other people's drama. Stoic compassion is not about tolerating abuse or lack of respect. It's about recognizing shared humanity, even in pain and suffering, and offering a space for healing and transformation. It is an act of love and wisdom, which elevates us as human beings and brings us closer to Stoic virtue. When we cultivate Stoic compassion in our relationships, we transform not only the world around us but also ourselves. We become more resilient, more understanding, and more capable of navigating life's challenges with serenity and wisdom. 4. Take care of your body and mind. In our busy daily lives, taking care of our health seems impossible. Work, family, information, everything takes our time and energy. That's where Stoic philosophy helps us with tips to be stronger, have a clear mind, and live well. The Stoics say we should focus on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and reactions. The rest, like genetics or what others do, we can't change. With this idea, taking care of your health becomes easier. Instead of complaining about genetics or lack of time, we can choose to eat well, exercise, and get enough sleep. But taking care of your mind is also important. And the Stoics teach us how to deal with difficult people, such as those who think they are superior or who do us harm. Imagine a colleague who always criticizes you to feel better. The normal reaction would be to get angry or sad, but with Stoic philosophy, we learn to stay calm and think clearly. First, we remember that we cannot control what he does or thinks. Then we focus on what we can control: our reaction. We can choose not to respond with anger or sadness. We can simply ignore what he says or respond calmly and firmly. Dealing with difficult people in this way doesn't mean accepting everything they do. It means taking care of ourselves and responding intelligently, protecting our mental and emotional health. Taking care of your body and mind is a path that lasts a lifetime. You need to have discipline and know yourself well. Stoic philosophy gives us tools to deal with the challenges of modern life, be stronger, have a clear mind, and live better. 5. Deep self-knowledge. Deep self-knowledge is a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. For Stoics, knowing ourselves is not just about knowing our preferences or abilities, but involves an intimate understanding of our values, limitations, and higher purposes in life. By knowing ourselves deeply, we develop a solid foundation to face interactions with narcissistic and toxic people. This is because self-knowledge allows us to establish clear limits and identify when these people try to manipulate or divert our trajectory. Furthermore, self-knowledge helps us maintain calm and mental clarity in the face of provocations from these personalities, as we are more aware of our reactions and can choose to respond in a conscious way that is aligned with our values. Stoics such as Seneca and Epictetus, emphasized that true freedom lies in the ability to govern our own minds and emotions. By knowing ourselves deeply, we are better prepared to deal with interpersonal challenges without losing our integrity or being drawn into the drama and manipulation that often accompanies interactions with narcissistic and toxic people. 6. Forgive, but don't forget. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself, freeing you from resentment and anger. Forgive toxic people for the harm they caused you, but don't forget them. Keep them at a safe distance so they can't hurt you again. Forgiveness is not condescension towards the toxic person, but rather a way of releasing yourself from the negative burden they have caused. Imagine forgiveness as a shield. By forgiving, you remove the emotional barb embedded in the toxic behavior, but the shield remains, serving as a reminder and a protection so that you are not harmed again. Remember, forgiveness does not mean forgetting what happened or pretending that nothing bad happened to you. It is an internal process that allows you to move forward and heal emotionally. However, forgiveness does not negate the need for caution. It's wise to keep toxic people away, physically and emotionally, to prevent them from bringing more negativity into your life. By reconciling forgiveness with caution, you free yourself from the weight of the past and strengthen your resilience to face the future with wisdom and serenity. However, forgiving does not mean forgetting. It is crucial that you learn from the negative experience and implement measures to protect yourself in the future. Keep toxic people at a safe distance, whether emotionally or physically. Limit contact if necessary, and don't feel pressured to maintain relationships that drain your energy and prevent you from flourishing. By forgiving and maintaining a healthy distance, you break the cycle of negativity and take back control of your emotional life. You demonstrate strength and resilience, proving that the actions of others do not define who you are. 7. The power of identification. In the midst of the human jungle, we find peculiar creatures, narcissists, egocentric and manipulative beings disguised as grandeur who drain our energy and delay our journey. But fear not, for Stoic wisdom offers us the key to dealing with these challenges and taking back control of our destiny. The first step to taming the beast is understanding it. Imagine a wild animal, imposing at first sight but fragile and insecure inside. Your grandiosity is just a mask to hide your depths of insecurity. The narcissist feeds on the admiration and validation of others, like a vampire draining life energy. A master of manipulation, he uses various tricks to achieve his goals. He can be charming and seductive at first, gaining your trust with compliments and attention. But over time, his true face reveals itself, that of a cruel and insensitive manipulator. Trapped in a world of their own where they are the center of the universe, the narcissist lives in a distorted view of reality. Incapable of empathy, he sees people only as tools to feed his inflated ego. The narcissist's power over us resides in our own mind. By recognizing his mind games and refusing to feed his ego, we break the spell he tries to cast on us. Understanding the narcissist is crucial to our freedom. Uncover your behavior patterns, your manipulation tactics, and your fragile ego. With this knowledge, you will be better prepared to deal with him assertively and protect your emotional well-being. The path to dealing with a narcissist is not easy, but it is possible. Through understanding, Stoic philosophy, and inner strength, you will find the freedom you desire. 8. Cultivate sovereign indifference. In the midst of the rush of everyday life, where different ideas and personal problems mix, the sovereign indifference, it is like a shield to protect our inner peace. This attitude does not mean being apathetic or disinterested, but rather cultivate calm faced with situations that we cannot control. Instead of fighting with others or being affected by their actions, sovereign indifference reminds us that happiness is within ourselves. It's knowing what we can control and what we can't, and focusing on the things that really matter. Seneca, an ancient philosopher, said, "It is not the events that disturb us, but our interpretation of them." This means we can choose how to react to things. Sovereign indifference invites us to think before we act, especially in difficult situations. If we encounter people who harm us, this philosophy gives us tools to deal with them in a positive way, assertive. We can set limits and protect our inner peace without allowing ourselves to be manipulated. Sovereign indifference does not mean ignoring the suffering of others or pretending that problems do not exist. On the contrary, it allows you to act with compassion and wisdom, without drowning us in unnecessary drama. By cultivating this attitude, we become stronger to face life's challenges with calm and intelligence. This way, we can build an authentic life free from other people's negativity. 9. Nurture self-esteem. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that proposes the cultivation of virtue and reason to achieve inner happiness, offers valuable tools for nurturing unshakable self-esteem, even in the face of narcissistic and toxic people. The key lies in recognizing the importance of personal control and individual responsibility for one's own happiness. Instead of seeking external validation and depending on the approval of others, Stoicism invites us to build self-esteem from within, cultivating values such as honesty, justice, courage, and temperance. By focusing on developing these qualities, we strengthen our character and become less susceptible to manipulation and negative influence from toxic people. When dealing with narcissists, we must remember that their actions and words reflect their own insecurities and problems, not our faults or failures. Stoicism teaches us not to internalize our negative behaviors, but rather to observe them with compassion and detachment. Instead of engaging in arguments or trying to change the narcissist's behavior, we should focus on maintaining our calm, assertiveness, and integrity. We can set clear and firm boundaries, refusing to be manipulated or abused. In doing so, we demonstrate respect for ourselves and protect our self-esteem. It is important to remember that unshakable self-esteem does not mean being passive or resigned. On the contrary, it means having the strength and courage to defend our values and act in accordance with our principles, even in the face of challenges and obstacles. By nurturing unshakable self-esteem through the teachings of Stoicism, we become more resilient and less susceptible to the negative influences of toxic people. We build a solid foundation of self-confidence and self-worth that allows us to navigate life's challenges with serenity and inner strength. 10. Seek Stoic wisdom. One of the fundamental pillars of Stoicism lies in the differentiation between what we can control and what escapes our control. When dealing with narcissistic and toxic people, it is crucial to recognize that we do not have the power to change their personalities or actions. The focus, therefore, must be on what is within our control, our own reactions and thoughts. When faced with manipulative behaviors, constant criticism, or the need for validation from narcissistic individuals, Stoic wisdom invites us to adopt a detached and rational stance. This means avoiding internalizing offenses, recognizing them as reflections of the other person's own weaknesses and not as attacks on ourselves. In this context, the practice of self-awareness becomes essential. By cultivating a deep understanding of our values, limits, and needs, we become better able to discern when we are being manipulated or emotionally drained. This clarity allows us to establish healthy boundaries and communicate our needs assertively, without giving in to emotional blackmail or guilt. Stoic wisdom also teaches us to cultivate compassion, not as a tolerance for toxicity, but rather as an acknowledgement of the pain and suffering that resides at the core of each individual. By understanding the roots of narcissism and toxicity, we can develop empathy for those who suffer from such patterns without letting ourselves be negatively affected by their projections. By seeking Stoic wisdom, we equip ourselves with tools to calmly navigate the turbulent waters of interpersonal relationships, even when faced with narcissistic and toxic individuals. By differentiating between what we can control and what escapes us, by cultivating self-awareness, assertiveness, and compassion, we build emotional resilience and protect our well-being without getting lost in the fog of toxicity. 11. Surround yourself with virtuous people. On the path of Stoic wisdom, surrounding yourself with virtuous people plays a fundamental role in the search for a serene and fulfilling life. By cultivating relationships with those who demonstrate moral uprightness, integrity, and wisdom, one opens oneself to a universe of mutual learning, growth, and unwavering support. Stoic philosophy teaches us that virtue resides in character, not in appearances or material possessions. A virtuous person is one who acts in accordance with solid ethical principles, always seeking good and justice in their decisions. She radiates positivity, compassion, and empathy, inspiring those around her to be better versions of themselves. By surrounding ourselves with virtuous people, we engage in a constant exchange of teachings and values. We learn from the wisdom of their experience, absorbing their perspectives, and strengthening our own moral compass. Inspired by his righteousness, we are motivated to cultivate virtues in ourselves, moving towards excellence of character. However, the task of identifying and dealing with narcissistic and toxic people can be challenging, requiring wisdom and discernment. Stoicism offers us valuable tools to navigate these complex situations with serenity and firmness. Firstly, it is crucial to recognize the signs of narcissistic and toxic behavior. Individuals with such tendencies tend to be self-centered, manipulative, and lack empathy. They may engage in abusive behaviors, such as constant criticism and devaluing others. When we identify the presence of such individuals in our lives, we must act with caution and assertiveness. It is important to set clear and firm boundaries, refusing to be manipulated or abused. Honest and direct communication, always permeated with respect, can be an effective way to deal with the situation. In more serious cases, where the relationship becomes toxic and harmful to our well-being, physical and emotional distance may be the most appropriate solution. Breaking ties with people who cause us suffering and impede our growth is an act of self-love and self-care. Surrounding yourself with virtuous people is a privilege that enriches our lives and propels us on the Stoic journey. By cultivating healthy, uplifting relationships, we open ourselves to a world of opportunities for growth, learning, and mutual support. Always attentive to the signs of toxicity, and equipped with the Stoic tools of discernment and assertiveness, we can navigate interpersonal challenges with wisdom and strengthen our moral compass, moving towards the serene and fulfilling life that we so desire. 12. Celebrate small victories. The path to be taken with narcissists can be arduous, full of discouragement and frustration. But don't let that stop you from celebrating your achievements, no matter how small they may seem. Recognizing and celebrating each positive step you take towards your happiness and fulfillment is fundamental. Imagine you are climbing a steep mountain. The view from the top is stunning, but the path is long and challenging. There will be times when you question whether it's worth continuing. It's in these moments that celebrating small victories becomes crucial. When you conquer a plateau, stop and appreciate the landscape you have conquered so far. Celebrate the fact that you have overcome obstacles and are getting closer to the summit. This celebration, no matter how simple it is, injects you with a dose of motivation and reminds you of your ultimate goal. Celebrate the courage to walk away from a toxic situation. Celebrate the strength of saying no to manipulation. Rejoice that you have carved out a healthy emotional space for yourself. These victories, although invisible to outside eyes, are fundamental to your well-being and personal growth. Don't wait for great achievements to allow yourself a moment of celebration. Turn small steps into rituals of self-recognition. Allow yourself to feel pride in your progress, your resilience, and the dedication you have shown to yourself. Remember, the journey towards happiness is made up of a multitude of small steps. Celebrating each achievement, no matter how small, keeps you motivated and reminds you of your intrinsic value. It's like enjoying the shine of the stars at night, each one of them contributing to the beauty of the sky, even the faintest ones. Facing the constant challenge of dealing with the energy depleted by narcissistic and toxic people is a complex journey, but in Stoic philosophy, we find a guide of wisdom and serenity. By adopting a Stoic stance, we strengthen our capacity for discernment and self-control, allowing us to face these situations with equanimity and resilience. The journey towards personal evolution is not just about overcoming external obstacles, but also about cultivating a mind and heart that are immune to external disturbances. And you? Did you enjoy the video and watch it until the end? Share your dedication in the comments with "until the end," which will be very rewarding for us and will encourage us to create more content like this. Together, we are contributing to a wiser and more resilient society in the face of adversity. Thank you for your participation and support on this journey. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so we can continue sharing knowledge and inspiration for a fuller and more conscious life. I hope to meet you in the next video. See you soon.